Welcome to the Lock It In Pod. I'm your host, Nathan Clark, here with my brother, Steven Clark. We've got Big Goof on the line here, Brady Spence. He's going to be providing some commentary for us. We're talking all things sports and gambling, all the good things us guys love. So, Steven, how you feeling today, man?
I'm feeling good, man. Got a couple sweats already in progress right now, so we will be tuned into that. But
we're watching it very intently.
We are.
Brady, how are you doing over there, big dog?
Hanging in here, man. Admire the new setup. It looks awesome.
I love it. So we're going to kind of run through a few things. We're going to be talking college basketball. We've got, conference tournaments going on right now, the finals. We've got March Madness right around the corner. We've got some big things going on in the world of golf. All three of us love golf. Brady, you beat our butts the other day, but hey, I'm coming back for you. We've also got some NFL talk to do, a little draft and free agency talk. We're going to be playing a game and bringing you guys a special guest today, so let's get this thing rolling.
Here we go.
Awesome. So first thing we're going to talk about today, we had some kind of blockbuster news go on in the NBA lately. The trade deadline was pretty abnormal, wouldn't you say, for the NBA?
Yeah.
Seeing a 25-year-old, peak of his prime, just getting traded like that for nothing, essentially.
Well, I wouldn't say it was nothing, but it was just it was crazy to think about trading your best player for another best player.
I mean, the best player, one of the best players in the NBA right now got traded for the skeleton of a formerly good player.
I mean, that's a little extreme. I wouldn't say that, but it's exactly what their management is saying. Like, they wanted to go with more defensive-minded players, and they were tired of, I guess, quote-unquote, the laziness of Luka.
Is that a real thing? Brady, do you think that's a real thing?
Hey, look, he's going to give you 20 games of absolutely, he's going to go hard, but he's going to give you 20 games. He just can't stay healthy,
You talking about AD?
So, yeah.
Oh, no, we're talking about Luka.
Yeah,
what about Luka?
Is Luka lazy to you?
I mean, how can you be so lazy and so good at basketball? It's like
that's
Jokic,
true. I
man.
mean, yeah. How can you be such a successful player?
It's kind of like how I think of Jokic. It's like he looks slow and he looks unathletic. It looks a little lazy sometimes, but I think it's methodical how he plays.
I guess.
Oh yeah.
Well, Jokic provides effort on defense. I think their problem was his effort on defense. But I mean, I don't know how you can say all this stuff about a player when he literally carried you to a finals appearance. No one expected them there. And then, they fizzle out at the end.
Last year,
and then
too.
Yeah, and then they fizzle out at the end, and then everyone was like, "Oh, Luka, he's the reason they're holding us back or whatever."
I don't buy it.
That's crazy. I think they're going to regret it 5 years from now when Luka wins an MVP or something like that. They're going to
regret it right now. I mean,
they're regretting it now.
Well, they're regretting it now because obviously it's been so bad, with all the injuries.
And now they're down to 7 players? They might forfeit games.
Yeah, I saw a thing that they're going to have to start forfeiting games if they can't get enough healthy
crazy.
players.
Do they not have a G League team to pull from?
I think there's rules on pulling people up and stuff like that.
That's kind of stupid.
Yeah, I mean,
it is.
They really should just forfeit the season, honestly.
At this point, tank for Cooper, baby.
I know. I mean, I feel like the Spurs are kind of doing the same thing right now. They just announced De'Aaron Fox is out for the season, and I mean,
the Spurs are doing something similar to back when Tim Duncan got drafted. You remember it was David Robertson. He got hurt halfway through the year.
I guess. I mean, I wasn't alive then, so.
Well, I mean, you got to read up on your history.
I mean, yeah, but I knew what you were talking about, but I wasn't there for that. But.
So we're talking about NBA. What teams do y'all like? And I'm going to start with you, Brady. What team do you like to make a run this year in the playoffs?
I mean, how can you not like what OKC's doing? I mean, Shai's obviously looking like an MVP candidate. He's probably going to be the MVP because of voter fatigue. We're not even going to get into that. But I love OKC. I think that team's going to go far in the tournament.
I was about to say, we were just talking about that earlier.
We were talking OKC too?
Well, we were talking about Shai and winning the MVP, and we were saying, he was looking at some stats from Jokic, and Brady was like, it's kind of crazy that we're normalizing a guy averaging a triple-double in the league,
that is
and
crazy.
Not winning MVP. I mean,
top 3 in every statistical category.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Come on.
I mean, I know people said his average, he was having a good, better than normal year for average, which is crazy to say, but he's literally averaging a triple-double. How do you not win MVP and you're averaging a triple-double? I think it's a little bit of voter fatigue, and I think it's also just people creating this narrative that Shai has to win an MVP. I was thinking it's probably started a couple of years ago. They were he's up and coming, he's going to win an MVP. And then they just start creating this narrative he might as well win the MVP this year. I mean, he is on another level too. I just think in the NBA nowadays it's just everyone's doing good offensively. I think it's more about what you're doing for your team and the record and stuff. So I think I'd probably give an edge to Shai just because his team is the best team in the league, and you're the best player on the best team in the league. I mean, he's had the most 50-point games, most 40-point games, most 30-point games the entire season in the league. I mean, it's a toss-up.
I agree. I mean, I think OKC in the West, they're the juggernaut. But I think when you look at the East, a team that's maybe a level below, but I think built very similarly, that's built very close, I would say, is the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Yeah, I mean,
I really like what they've done this year.
Yeah, but I think people just want to see it travel into the playoffs. I think, even last year, like, they obviously are having like a crazy year this year, and so we'll see what happens. But even last year, like, there was literally a quote from Jared Allen. Is that his name?
Yeah,
the center, and he was like. He was like, the lights were too bright because, like, it.
You hate to hear.
I know you hate to hear.
I would never say that publicly. That's crazy.
Yeah, but
wow.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm just curious to see what they're going to do in the playoffs with this record. I mean,
so tell me, have you been keeping up with the Celtics? Like, what's been going on with them?
They're having another still solid year. Yeah, I mean,
nothing
crazy. I mean,
average.
I mean, I feel like every time I'm looking, they're missing one of their starters. Like, whether it's Derek White or Drew Holiday or Jaylen Brown. Like, they're just someone's resting or something like that. So I feel like they're going to be, obviously they won it last year and they're primed to repeat, I think. But people are kind of losing them with the Cavs and their regular season record and the OKC and what's going on in the West. So I think that, whatever their odds are, I would still take their odds right now to win it all.
So here's a question I'll pose to the both of you guys is the NBA, I mean, if you look at the big four of professional sports leagues, you've got the NHL, you've got MLB, football, and basketball. Basketball, the NBA is definitely trending in a different direction that those other three sports franchises are going. If you were commissioner, if you had to wear the commissioner hat for a day, what would you do to change the NBA in its current format to make it a more, let's call it a more watchable product?
Here's what I'll say about that. I can't, honestly, I don't know the answer. I don't know what it looks like. I'll just tell you what needs to change. The intensity. This is why I think college basketball is 10 times the sport to watch than regular season NBA. NBA playoffs are a little better because it's all about the intensity they play with. I'm tired of watching, maybe they need to shorten the season. Maybe they need to make the games more meaningful for the season. I'm tired of watching NBA players like the effort that they play with. I mean, and they're getting paid, they're getting paid the millions of dollars and they can't go out there and
it's getting paid crazy. I mean, I don't remember who the NBA player was, but they were talking about Saquon Barkley in the NFL.
Yeah.
Like Saquon Barkley, who is arguably the best, he is the best running back, but he's arguably the best offensive player in the NFL right now. He's getting paid less than the seventh man on most NBA rosters, which is just nuts to me.
Yeah. What do you think, Brady?
I think you really hit the nail on the head. I mean, when you look at these games, when you look at the defensive end, they're just so lazy. Like it's not fun to watch. I would love for them to either shorten the quarters, shorten the season. Make these guys that are getting paid so much money actually go on the court and try every night. Want to be out there. Like I'll admit, when I watched the OKC Thunder this year, they're like one of the only teams I actually enjoy to watch. I feel like they come out there every game and are trying on both ends of the court. I think if we could find a way to, make the whole league play at that type of intensity, it would be so much more enjoyable to watch.
And I think that was my point is like, you say like, what would you do if you're a commissioner? I don't even know. Like, I don't know what to change or like what you would do. I'm just telling you what needs to change.
Yeah.
Like, what do you think like you could do to like incentivize it? Like, I guess shorten the season.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
I mean, college basketball plays 30 games, and every game matters. Like, you're playing in conference, you're down to 18 games in conference play. Like, that means a lot. Like, I mean, one game can decide whether you get in or not.
I think the NBA did the right thing with the NBA Cup that they have going on right now. They've got to work through it, but like the thought behind it was, we need to make the season. We need to get teams and players more bought into the season.
Well, the prize for it is money.
I thought it's an automatic spot.
It's money. Like it's an automatic. I promise it's not.
The whole team gets like $500,000.
Every player on the team gets $1 million or something.
Well, screw that. They make enough money already.
I think that was my point.
I think the reward that I thought it was, and what it probably should be, is if you win the NBA Cup mid-season, it gets you like an automatic 7 or 8 seed.
Well then what? They're just gonna sit out the rest of the season? Like they got a playoff bid? Like
gives the Lakers a free bid in.
Chance. Like that's what I'm saying. Is like if a good team wins it, they're automatically in as the 8. Well, they'd want a better seed than that. But what if someone like you see like a great story like the Hornets winning? Like they're never in the playoffs, but they sneak into the 8 seed because they won the cup.
Well, it's so early in the season. Like, what do the season starts in like October and it goes until April, I guess. And they do that tournament like in like November. So like, what would be the point? That's so long.
Yeah.
If they did it later in the season, maybe like if they did it in like March or something like that, and then it's like, yeah, like obviously I would try for that because then I could rest. But see, that's the whole problem is the resting the players now. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. I think that it's kind of moved away from like, well, speaking of another thing that makes the NBA hard to watch right now is the refs. There is something really different about watching college basketball and the way that the players interact with the refs and how the NBA players interact with the refs. Like it's a whole different thing. Like I think I'm all for like the player empowerment, like getting more for the player, more money and all that and all whatever. But
as long as they deserve it.
Yeah, but I'm honestly tired of watching Luka Doncic every play complain about a foul, whine, get a tech, and it's like nothing matters. Like I'm tired of the players whining in the NBA.
Watch. So that's the bad side of basketball. But let's transition to the good side of basketball. We were talking about college basketball. Yeah. We're at March Madness now. Conference tournaments are wrapping up today as we're filming this. So what I'm really interested in is I want to talk to you about the Wooden Player of the Year. You've got really 2 main candidates. It's Janai Broome from Auburn, and you've got Cooper Flagg, my guy from Duke. So who do you think deserves to win?
If I had to pick one right now, and I think it's really close, but thinking about what Janai Broome has had to do in the SEC this year, I think is hands down like he has to win it. Like if you look at their stats, Broome's averaging 18.9 points per game, same as Cooper Flagg. They're and he's averaging 11 rebounds, 3 assists, a block, a steal, whatever.
Yeah. And
he's on the number 1 team in the hardest conference. I think that was going back to what I said about like MVP and NBA. Like the best player on the best team should win the MVP, Wooden Award, whatever.
I agree a little bit to that. I think there's an added factor in my mind of Janai Broome he's a 5th-year senior, correct? Cooper Flagg's putting up the same exact stats and the same exact.
It's impressive, but like, what does it matter?
Let me get to my point. Is because they're putting up comparable stats, and I'll grant you maybe that Broome's impact is slightly more than Flagg's at Duke, but Flagg is a 18-year-old freshman. Janai Broome is a 23-year-old 5th-year senior that's been playing in the SEC for 4 years now, whatever that is. That added experience, I think it just makes it, in my mind, it makes it more impressive to see what Cooper Flagg's doing right now.
But would Cooper Flagg be doing the same thing on an SEC team?
Yes.
No,
yes.
He wouldn't. He wouldn't be averaging 19 points a game.
Yes, he would.
Okay.
Be 100%. It doesn't matter what team you put him on. He could be playing for the freaking Maine Black Bears or whatever they're called. Or he could be playing for the Auburn Tigers. He could play for any team in the country, and he's going to put up the same exact numbers and still have the same exact impact.
With the record,
he's a generational talent.
I disagree. I don't. No, I'm not saying he's not he's a great player, obviously, but like
not generational.
I don't think. But he's in the ACC. Like it's a lot different than. I mean, they just won the ACC tournament without him.
Well,
so they can take down the top team in the ACC besides themselves without their best player.
I think they just have a really good team. I would say overall Duke's team's better than Auburn's.
I know, and I think that generates more like saying like Broome's doing more with less.
Brady, what do you think about this?
In terms of deserving the award, I mean, for a guy as a 5th year to be making this impact and for them to be as good as they are, I just got to give it to him. Cooper's he's going to be a generation. I think he's a generational talent. I think he's a top NBA prospect. He's going to be a number 1, number 2 pick. But man, what Broome's done, I completely think he deserves it. It's awesome to see him play and see that team have as much success as they are. I like Bruce Pearl as well. He's a great coach, and everything about that team is awesome. And I hope they have a deep run. So
yeah.
So I want to get back to this. Where do you think Cooper Flagg's pro comp is?
I don't know. To be honest, I think he's kind of unique. I know it's hard to compare him to someone like that, like to someone in the NBA now or currently.
Right.
I mean,
I got an interesting comp for you that
I'm not. Here's what I'll say at all. I definitely 100% Cooper Flagg will be a way better NBA player than Janai Broome. I don't think Janai Broome's game will translate
100%.
as much to the NBA as Cooper Flagg's will. But I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about his body of work from this season.
Okay.
So
I can kind of see that. I think Cooper Flag is the greatest thing since sliced bread, and I think
right.
Brady agrees with me there. So we've got some tourney locks coming up. Who do you think will be some teams that'll make a run? Like, what are some lower seeded teams that you think are going to be the Cinderella? But what was your team? The Farley Dickinson.
Fairleigh Dickinson, yeah.
Yeah. Who do you think is going to be that team this year?
Well, I don't know about a seed that low, but a seed that they're probably going to be high single digits. Maybe is VCU. They are a very well put together team. I mean, they've got. I think one thing, and especially in today's college basketball, like they've retained the current players and they've added new guys from the portal. So they're just a really put together team, and I think they play in a mid major league in the A10. But even if they didn't win their conference tournament today, they would still be in the tournament. Like with their.
That's a good pick. I like McNeese State. I followed them.
I think it's just McNeese.
I think it's McNeese State.
No, I think it's just McNeese.
I'm pretty Brady. What do you think? Is it McNeese or McNeese State?
No comment because I have no clue, boys.
Cameraman, do you know what it is?
I think it's McNeese State.
No, I'm pretty sure it's just McNeese.
No, I'm positive it's mixing.
It is. It's McNeese State.
McNeese State.
Every time it pops up on like the ticker for ESPN, it's McNeese.
I've said their jerseys are just McNeese, but it's
All
McNeese
right.
State. McNeese State is going on a run. I'm calling it right now.
People said that last year, and they got blown out by Gonzaga.
McNeese State is the guy with the team manager with the speaker, right?
Yeah.
I am riding with that guy 100. I'm riding with him to the national championship game. As long as this dude has the boom box and is leading them out like it worked for the 49ers. So I think they'll go all the way to the national championship as long as they keep this boombox thing going.
All right, whatever. Well,
I freaking love it.
Who do you like that's like a higher seed that you think might go home early?
Go home early. I'm not big on Tennessee. I've seen a lot of SEC games. Like their offense.
You agree, Brady?
Trash.
Absolutely. Last year they actually made a larger run than they normally do, but every year Tennessee is the top seed and they lose early.
We talked about this. Like last year they had Dalton. They're a good defensive team. We'll grant them that. But their offense is atrocious this year. Last year, Dalton Connect just absolutely carried them in every game.
Yeah,
So
I
think Tennessee.
They can pull it out when they need to.
I think they might go home round one.
That's crazy. I mean,
they
might be a 1 or 2 seed.
Yeah, no, I think.
Nah, no chance.
Pair them up against McNeese State and see what happens.
McNeese State is not a 15 seed.
Well, whatever they are, let them meet Tennessee, and we'll see who the best.
Yeah,
team
probably
is.
in like 2 rounds, this Sweet 16. Anyways, they just beat Auburn in the SEC tournament, and it was like a great game, like top to bottom. Auburn didn't have they're a solid team. Like
they're a good
their
team.
defense can carry them.
I don't think with their offensive talent, like their lack of offensive talent, you're rolling the dice.
Well, here's the funny
I'll
thing.
say.
My team that I think going home early is Kentucky, and that I think that's completely opposite from what you're saying. Is like they're all offense, no defense.
Yeah.
But so many injuries, especially with Lamont Butler. I don't even know if he's playing.
Mm-hmm.
I know he got injured again. I know Jackson Robinson is out for the season. Like I don't know. I don't really know what it looks like for them, and I'm not confident. I'm not confident in teams that are fizzling out at the end of the year.
That's a good point.
I mean, Auburn's lost 3. They said no number 1 overall seed has lost 3 out of 4 to end the season.
Oof.
And
That's tough.
That's not going to be
tough. Who do you got there, big dog?
Hey, y'all said the two that I completely agree with. I think those two. Not only did they get busted out early on in multiple, like I've seen it in the past decade. I think it's going to happen once again this year, and I think the points y'all made are right on the money.
I think you're probably right.
Just wanted to add, we told you we were paying attention to some games currently right now. Last leg of the parlay, me and Nathan had a good parlay headed into today. The last leg, VCU to win the A10, and they're up 8 at halftime. How do you feel? What's the current cash out option?
My phone's behind the camera.
Well.
I feel very safe. Listen, you were afraid earlier this morning when we had 2 legs left. And in my mind, when I woke up this morning and I saw it, I was like, oh, this thing's hitting. Like, this thing's locked.
I feel pretty good.
It's going to – and you're on money lines. You're not on spreads.
Yeah.
So that's like –
we should be good. We should be good.
Like, you're chilling.
Yeah.
So, now I'll talk about some golf. This is Brady and Steven, your new guys' love here. It's something I've loved for a while, but it's been fun playing with you guys, getting you guys into golf. But talking about a few things in the golf world, the professional golf world. Full Swing Season 3 just came out. I know I'm the only one that's seen it so far, but I know you guys remember what happened last year. You remember when Scotty got arrested?
Yeah.
I mean, dude, it was just crazy with this documentary on Netflix to be able to see the behind the scenes. Like,
what are some key takeaways from it? Like, for people that haven't watched, like,
it's literally like I'm talking about the Scotty episode. Imagine just imagine how crazy it would be if LeBron James got arrested outside the Staples Center, like trying to turn into the parking lot. Or LaMelo. Like, I'm not even gonna lie. Like, I hate to expose LaMelo like this, but at Spectrum Center, LaMelo pulls his car like 70 miles an hour into the Spectrum Center parking lot. I've seen it happen on social media. Like, how crazy would it be in one of these bigger team professional sports? Like, Patrick Mahomes gets arrested walking into the Super Bowl. Like, that's nuts. And that's what happened with Scotty Scheffler, and it was so amazing that not only was Full Swing there, but there was also a reporter that was right behind Scotty when this happened. And just to see the behind-the-scenes view of the best player in the sport getting led in handcuffs for doing something as simple as driving into the entrance to the tournament, it was just crazy to watch. I mean, some other episodes on there, like, I remember this fondly because I was betting on Bryson at the time. So when I give you a golf pick, lock it in because it usually happens. So I don't know if you guys remember the U.S. Open.
Didn't you tell me like one thing like a couple like maybe like a month or two ago, and you were like, yeah, Scotty Scheffler top 5 finish is like an easy like just add it to extra leg, just add it like it's a lock. Ended up being the only one that didn't.
All right, Scotty's been on a poor run so far to start this year. I mean, the dude was literally the best golfer since Tiger Woods last year, so there had to be.
People say that every year. I feel like every year, like the number one golfer is
not like Scott. The year Scotty had last year is unparalleled by anyone other than Tiger Woods.
Okay,
but the U.S. Open is what I'm talking about because I bet on Bryson. I put a pretty substantial sum on Bryson to win that tournament, and I remember we were at Father's Day a dinner, and I'm sitting here glued to the screen because it was at Pinehurst, right down the road from us here. Rory McIlroy and Bryson DeChambeau neck and neck going down the final holes. Rory missed 2 3-foot putts.
I do,
like 3 foot. Think of 3 foot. I mean, that's what, like 3 foot.
It's like this.
Hey!
I mean,
those are some tough putts. Okay. Listen,
yeah, I was about to say. Talking to the guy that I
am the 3-putt master.
Brady has raised his hand.
Yeah, Brady raised his hand because he is the 3-putt master.
Yeah, we're talking about the guy who is quite possibly the best golfer out of the three of us.
Oh,
could
definitely.
Tee
to 50 yards.
But he might be the worst putter ever. I think, when we get down to and he's like, all right, Brady, like you hit this putt to win, and it's like a 5-foot putt, and it's like, pretty simple.
Putt. I also remember
your
chipping. I've never seen somebody double hit a chip. Like live.
Well, he's really good at chipping. I think it was just that one time.
That was just crazy.
Yeah.
But
listen,
talk about
lock it in.
Rory misses those putts. Bryson ends up winning, and I mean, just the behind the scenes is pretty cool. Like, yeah, I mean, I wish they did Full Swing for something like the NBA or the NFL.
I mean, they do.
Not to the level Full Swing.
What's that? There's a basketball one that came out like this past summer, and
LeBron
it was like
did it. I mean,
it was like a LeBron, Jason Tatum, and it was okay. Like
it was unwatchable to me, but that's the NBA.
I mean, I liked it. I mean, it wasn't something like substantially like interesting, but like it was still cool to see like what their families are like and like what they do behind the scenes and prepping for games and stuff. But what would you like if you were picking a course that you would want to play at, like one of these nice like PGA courses? Like, what would you pick?
See, my answer would be probably St. Andrews overseas because that's one of those link style courses.
Where's that in?
Scotland.
Scotland. Yeah.
Scotland. Okay. I knew it was.
They're the ones with like the cliffs like that.
No. This is the one that's. I mean, it kind of does, but it's wide open. Like the holes back up to each other. Kind of like think of like a Monroe Country Club. Like you can never go OB. So that's
link courses.
Links courses. Yeah. So, like, my thought process is history. It's one of the oldest golf courses in the world. And also the added benefit of, like, I'm not playing at Pebble Beach where there's a cliff on half my shots where I can lose my ball. Because you damn well know I'm going to hit some balls into the water if I get the
Yeah.
opportunity. So I like the straight, the open style of it.
I think the one that I liked was TPC Scottsdale, like with the waste management, where they have like what hole is it? Is like 17 or 16 or something?
16, yeah.
16, and it's like a par 3, and they've got like all this.
45,000 people.
Yeah, and it's got this 45.
I think a lot.
Dude, no way. That's way too many people.
Cameraman, can I get a check on that? How many?
TPC Scottsdale.
Yeah,
The waste management. How many people
Dude,
are
in
at
that one
16?
in that one
They
thing.
expanded it recently.
It's
I wanna
not.
say it's a lot.
That's like more than that's like double an NBA arena.
I want to say that like
You know, an
100,000
NBA
people.
arena seats like
They're small,
All right,
though.
you came to a South Carolina game like when it was packed out.
Yeah,
like
that's
that's
small.
like 15,000.
Yeah, that's small.
It's not more than that.
3,700.
Yeah, oh my God. That wasn't even close.
5,000.
That's
I said
insane.
45. But
That's
all right.
crazy.
All right, I may have been a tad off.
All right,
there.
but anyways, I want to go there because that's cool. And I think that's
How do you think you guys would do in that shot with all the fans there screaming at you? Like, what do you? Tell me, be honest. Are you going in
even
the
if
crowd?
no, I'm not going in the crowd, but like even if I was by myself hitting on there, I probably would only hit the green like 2 out of every 10 times. Like,
Yeah. What about you, big dog?
are you going on a big
3,500
dog?
people watching me in the stands. I'm putting that thing on the green 10 times. No, I'm just kidding. We're, 3 out of 10, 30% is probably a good number.
Nah, I love it. Well, we got a golf tournament going on right now at actually a very nice course. I got a friend that lives down there in Ponte Vedra. Beautiful course down there. And Players Championship, right now, last I checked, Rory's in the lead. But it's what I was saying earlier about the Open last year. Like, Rory is known to choke stuff. And Sawgrass, with how tough it's playing, like 30-mile-an-hour wind gusts, narrow fairways, small greens.
It was just rain too last night. Like it was wet out
So
there.
it's basically Rory versus a bunch of just like average type of guys. So I mean, if you had to make a prediction, we're not watching it right now. We don't know what's happened in the past hour. Do you think Rory has choked and the rest of the field caught up to him, or do you think Rory's finally going to win a big tournament?
Is this technically a big tournament?
Okay, so let me explain this because we were talking about this earlier. There are the 4 majors.
Yeah, and I know that. Yeah.
The Players is called the unofficial fifth.
Fifth major. Yeah.
Yeah, it's called the unofficial 5th major. So it's the most money. If you place in first place, it's the most money that you win. But it's not technically a major. But do you think Rory's going to pull it out? We hadn't been checking.
I guess. Yeah. I mean, I would tend to believe that like the well-known guy can finally.
Because I mean that's what it comes down to. It's like the star versus like 4 or 5 people that I've never heard of.
Yeah.
So
It's not a major, so maybe Roy's not as nervous. He's not missing those 3 putts today. I think he's going to win it.
Yeah.
Well, all right, we're going to take a break real quick. We're going to get you some words from our sponsors for this video, and then we'll get back to you with the first segment, first game, Wavelength.
Let's do it.
Nathan, I've shown a couple TikToks of Nathan, like, of what this game was, and
I think I've got the hang of it.
Yeah, he's never seen it before, but he's about to play for the first time. We're going to show you some cool sports-related Wavelength questions, and we'll see how he does.
Cool. Let's do it, man.
All right, guys, we're back. We're playing Wavelength. Playing against each other, I guess. I don't really know how this point system works. I don't know if how it works, but
I'm gonna beat you.
First one we got underrated athlete, and then we got overrated athlete. All right, I'm gonna say like Luca.
Oh, I mean, very, very underrated. Let's go like right there.
Bruh. Underrated? Who thinks he's underrated?
I do. So like
Oh
middle
my
would
gosh.
just be normal?
Yeah, like he properly rated.
Oh, okay. Hey, we're learning as we go. We're learning as we go.
All right, we got next one.
Okay.
Next one. Well, you can do the next one.
Okay. All right.
Spin it a couple times.
Spin it.
Close my eyes.
Okay.
So we got what? We got most clutch on this side, or we got choker on this side, and then most clutch over here.
Yes.
Choker, most clutch on this side.
I would say Ray Allen.
Ray Allen. All right, obviously, that's a really clutch player, so I'm going to go. I wouldn't say he's the most clutch. I would say probably like MJ or Kobe or someone would be.
That was my wavelength.
Well, you can't say it until I actually do it, but I'm going to say like right there.
I have a feeling like you're going to choose.
That's good. Oh, my gosh.
Oh,
Gosh.
That's close.
We suck. All right, next one. All right, we got easiest sport on this side and hardest sport over here.
Glad I'm not doing this one.
I would say like maybe bowling. Bowling.
The easiest sport possible.
Dude, why are you so like you're so like one way or the other? Like it's okay.
Bowling?
That's so it's not easy, but it's not hard.
What would you if it had been the easiest sport? What would you have said?
I would have said like throwing darts.
Bowling is easier than throwing darts. That's so crazy. What?
Okay, I would have said like baseball for the hardest, but like okay, what would
Okay.
you have said if it was in the middle?
In the middle? I'd say something. Yeah, something like
Lacrosse? That's way harder than bowling.
That's true, actually. It's precise.
That's what I'm saying.
Bowling is
It's easy enough that anyone can do it, but it's like
Professional setting?
I mean,
I'm just saying
I'd
the
probably
sport in
say
general.
Football was the middle one.
okay, I guess. Yeah, I could have been on your wavelength with that.
Dang it! All right, we'll figure this out. We'll get it right. So
bro.
now we've got most icon. Am I supposed to say that?
Yeah, most iconic.
Okay. Most iconic jersey and most forgettable jersey.
So most forgettable, most
Yes.
iconic.
Yes. Let's fix that. Alrighty. Look. All right. This is tough.
I got one.
What?
The Bobcats jerseys.
Which
Yeah.
one?
I agree.
Like home?
OG Bob.
20, let's say 20.
No, I know what year, but like a home jersey, away jersey, what? Because I know they got like the home one with the white ones were pretty tough, but I think the away ones looked okay.
Let's just say
I agree with that.
the home jerseys.
Prime tank era Bobcats jerseys.
So more like iconic.
Forgettable.
Man, that's tough because I feel like
Like when they were at their worst.
no. I feel like that's pretty iconic because they are at the worst. But I feel like people like us, we're from Charlotte. Like that's pretty iconic to us. But like
I would say
the Bobcats are
Hornets are
very forgettable. So I would say in general it's more forgettable. I mean, why you give me that look? I'll put it like so. This is right in the middle. I would say just a little bit forgettable. Oh my gosh, I knew it. I knew it was forgettable, but I just didn't.
I couldn't. I was trying to think of the most forgettable thing.
I know.
Iconic would have been so easy.
Yeah, I would have said like the
But-
Raptors, like old jerseys or something.
That was
Lakers
literally my
jerseys are
first
pretty
thought.
iconic.
Yeah.
The neon.
Okay,
I'll do this last
I'm not
one.
gonna lie. I'm not
I'll do
gonna.
this last one.
All right, yeah, go ahead.
All right.
Yeah,
So-
I'm not gonna lie. I would have. Now that I'm thinking about it, that makes a lot of sense. That was my fault because that makes a lot of
Trying to
sense.
tee
That
it
like,
up for you.
well, yeah, that's really forgettable. Is
It
the
is.
Bobcat? But then you looking at me saying like the Bobcats jersey, like I'm thinking like, man, that like it's pretty iconic to us.
Honestly,
like,
I would say like for Charlotte fans, because you were saying this, I think like the OG Hornets are more iconic than the Bobcats.
yeah, I would say so.
So
It is really
But all right,
forgettable. I'm
for the
kinda
last
an idiot.
one, we've got best college football atmosphere, worst
All
college
right,
football.
we're going for
atmosphere.
1 point here.
Yeah, we got to get on the board. We have to get on the board right now. Okay.
Don't look yet.
All right.
Worst, best.
Yeah, worst to best. I'm gonna do a North Carolina team just so you can kind of have perspective. You know a little bit about
I
it.
know. I can.
I would probably say App State.
Our cameraman does not like that.
Crazy.
Uh,
Hold it so I can see. Hold on.
worst, best.
Yes.
I feel like that's pretty solid. Like that's a good. I mean, it's a nice like scenery, but at the same
It's not
time, it's
top
also
level
like
football.
Yeah, it's also like very like mid-major, and it's not they can't hold a lot of people, but it's still a good time. Like I'm thinking like when UNC
I
played
think
them,
we're
like that
on-
was
I think we're
that
on
was
the same
pretty
wavelength.
good. But it's not like that. Like obviously, I mean, in North Carolina, I would probably say like, I mean, I don't even know. NC State's a pretty good one.
NC
like
State, ECU.
those are pretty good ones. And then
Charlotte's the worst. I hate
yeah, Charlotte would be
Charlotte
like
would
here.
be that. ECU would be a little.
ECU would probably be like
there.
right there.
NC State because of how good they are in Carolina because of Bill
I'd say
Belichick.
just slightly above regular.
Yeah. So where do you think App would be?
Dude, oh my
That
god.
was a
Yeah.
horrible.
No, it was not.
awful.
No, it was not.
Those games are.
But it's a mid-major though.
They're electric.
Yeah, but it's a great
I would have
mid-major.
said like Wake Forest.
Yeah, that would have
would've
been.
put
I would
Wake
have.
Forest.
I would have exactly put it there if it said Wake
Bro,
Forest.
I would have put Wake Forest right here if you had told
You're
me
so
Wake
extreme with this. Like, it doesn't need to be whole one. Like, it needs to. You need to say it more in the middle.
Forest. I thought absolutely.
All right.
Well, that was an interesting game. We'll try again next week. We'll see if we can get on the board with some points.
Hopefully.
But now we've got a special guest joining us, Josh Gray. Steven's going to tell you a little bit about him, but we're so grateful and thankful that Josh was able to get on with us today.
Yeah.
So turn it over to Steven.
Yeah, I mean, Josh was a teammate of mine last year at South Carolina. He's at Missouri now. I mean, he's a very interesting guy. I mean, I think I've said this before to you and to Brady, but like you meet people in life who are like one of one people.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's no one else like that person. He falls in. I mean, I can probably count in my hand people that I know like that.
Mm-hmm.
He's one of those people. Like he's just a great guy, funny guy, and like he's just one of one. Like
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to get Josh on the phone. So, Josh, welcome to the Lock It In pod.
How you doing, horse? Josh Gray?
You got to explain this horse nickname.
The horse.
I mean, yeah, that was my first question. Is like explain to us the horse nickname and how it's taken over the Missouri fan base as well as the South Carolina fan base too. You got a lot of love there too.
Well, basically, it started off in high school. I would say like my junior, senior year. We were just playing like basketball, like NBA 2K, and some of the terminology that we use on the game is like being horse and being a horse and whatnot. So that's when somebody like grabs a rebound over like say Stephen Clark's guarding me and I get a bunch of rebounds over Stephen Clark. He's getting horsed. So yeah, then when I started to grow and I started to get stronger and whatnot, and then I started applying that to like my actual game, they started calling me the horse.
When you grew, I think you've been the same height and size since like 5th grade. So
Yeah, well, yeah, height wise, but then like I started getting some muscle on my frame and whatnot.
yeah, once you started getting with Scott Greenawalt, I mean.
So I got a question. Steven had told me about this whole horse thing. There's another famous South Carolina alum who's big into horses, and I'm a football guy, so this is right up my alley. Do you know Xavier Leggett? Did you guys share horse stories? Did you guys go ride each other's anything like that?
Mm-mm.
Nah, he kind of did his own thing with Daldo.
I think we were at school at the same time. I did not know that he was a big horse guy, but yeah, I know of him. I think he's doing pretty well. I think he had a pretty good season this season, and but yeah, we haven't shared any like horse stories or anything like that.
All right. Talk about. I know last year being on the team with you, with Ramadan and stuff. Like I know that was a thing for you. Can you just talk a little bit about what that looks like for you, especially during like this is like the height of college basketball. Like you're going into the tournament and the conference tournament and all that. Like just to kind of explain what your day looks like with all that.
So typically my day looks like I don't know. So it was just daylight savings time. Like I think last week. So like I lost an hour. So now the sun rises. I think at like 7 instead of 6. But basically I wake up around 5:30 or 5. To get up and eat before the sun rises. And then once the sun rises, I don't, eat, drink, listen to music or, chew gum or anything like that. I don't do that for like 12 to 13 hours, depending on what day it is. And then when the sun sets, I could just do all those things if I please. Ramadan, people confuse Ramadan as just like, just fasting, you know, during during the days of sunlight and whatnot, and you're just fasting from food, but actually you're cleansing your body, and it's like a spiritual cleanse because you can fast from a lot of things, like certain vices that other people have, drinking, smoking, partying, stuff like that. You can fast from that. You can fast from people that that don't really serve you well, and yeah, it's just the thing that I've been doing, and it's helped me a lot. The first couple years were really hard because I wasn't as educated. I didn't know um, how much I needed to be hydrated throughout the day, especially like with my big frame. Like um, the recommended like glasses of water that you have to drink are like 7 to 8 cups for the average human. But for me, I think it's about five five more cups than that, so like 13 or 14 cups.
Do you do the
Um,
IV stuff too? I saw something about the Stanford player who's doing it, and they said they put him on IVs in the morning.
yeah, so I just started doing that. I reluctantly started to do that last game or 2 games ago, during our first round game versus Mississippi State on Thursday, this past Thursday. So I had a good first half, and then I go out in the second half, and then I dunk the ball, and then I immediately start cramping.
Ooh.
And it was a slight cramp, but my trainer was like, we're not going to risk it. So I went back to the locker room for like literally like 10 to 12 minutes while the team was still playing. It was a close game. And they hooked me up to like an actual IV. Now, you have like the actual, like, I got these right here, like the liquid IVs, right,
Yeah.
that you take with the water.
I had to drink one of those this morning.
Yeah, so I thought I was going to the back to drink one of those, but no, they had a trainer. They hooked me up to this little IV thing. They stuck the needle in my arm, and the lady was rushing too, so it was pretty bad. There was blood everywhere. I was like, oh my god, like, can I just go out and play basketball?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the IV stuff will definitely help going into March because it's really difficult drinking like this amount of water every single day.
Golly.
Like, so I gotta drink this is a gallon. So I gotta drink this whole thing and then like another half right here.
Wait, do you
So-
drink? Do you drink during the day?
No. This is just from like when I came back. Like I didn't really wake up this morning, so I got up to like right here. So
Yeah, right. You're
we're
drinking before the
we're
sun
trying to
goes.
survive today.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Yeah, okay. So you just carry that water bottle around and look at it all day, but you can't actually drink from it until sunrise or sundown.
Right.
Okay, I gotcha.
I mean, that's kudos to you for your dedication, man, because I can imagine how tough that is, especially with March Madness, like Steven's talking about going on. This is like the peak of top-level basketball games, and for you to be able to commit yourself to this, and it's truly incredible. So one thing I wanted to ask, the transfer portal's kind of been a new thing in sports the past couple years. Like when I was playing football, I stopped playing the year before the transfer portal became a thing. So it's like I was in a whole different era, it feels like. And just a year later, my brother is playing college basketball. He went into the transfer portal. You went into the transfer portal. So tell me kind of like how that process went for you and why you ended up choosing Missouri.
So the transfer portal is like it was crazy because when, like you said, like coming out of high school, the rules were, if you wanted to transfer, you sit out a year
Yeah.
at the new destination,
Yep.
and then you would wait until next year to play. And when I got to school, like say for example, like my first year at LSU, like they basically changed the whole landscape of things, or at least they said big changes were coming, in terms of like NIL and then transfer rules and whatnot. So when I came in, everyone got a year back. Like because of like COVID and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
And then also you just got people got a free transfer. So, for example, like last year, they reinstated that you can transfer multiple times, because before last year you can only transfer one time,
Mm-hmm.
and then after that you would need to register. So when it came to like staying at South Carolina, that was like one of the factors in the previous years, because I didn't want to sit out and I didn't want to like apply for a waiver and then just wait on that. Yeah, once they changed the rules, I entered the portal, and then the first maybe 2 days are really calm. You might have like 1 to 2 schools calling, and then the longer you stay in the portal, the more schools that call. And I didn't know that at the time. One of my friends that was also in the portal told me that. But as I was leaving, the portal and ready to commit to Missouri, I got an array of calls from multiple Division I schools, and it was just really difficult, especially just navigating that by myself.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I also had my family with me, but just getting back to everybody and the organization of the whole thing was just very difficult. But ultimately, I decided to stay with Missouri because they were like one of the first people to call, and also one of the better places that I had gotten an offer from in terms of having an opportunity to play, and in terms of role, and most of all, I got to stay in the SEC.
Yeah.
Which I love. So.
Yeah, it seems like an awesome choice so far. We followed Missouri lately in the tournament, and you guys are a well-oiled machine. I'll say that over there. I think Steven's got a funny question for you. I've been looking forward to hearing the answer.
Yeah, I mean, well, I know you know a lot about horses and stuff and the strength and size. I mean, who would win on a fight? 1 horse-sized duck or 100 duck-sized horses?
1 horse-sized duck or 100 duck-sized horses?
Tough answer.
That is a tough answer.
You say your answer. I'll tell you what ChatGPT says for who would win.
I think, well, the duck is like this size. Maybe. I got to take the horse-sized duck, honestly.
Yeah, that's what ChatGPT said, just because of the sheer strength of like the one. It also said it depended on how aggressive it was, because like
ducks are pretty aggressive.
But it also said like if the little horses, like the duck-sized horses, if they were really aggressive, like they could. And it also said how well like they would have to team up. Like if they teamed up, they could probably. And if that big duck-sized horse is just like really like calm and like it's not trying to fight, but like the little horses are trying to fight, like it could get dangerous for it. Because if they communicated and teamed up, I don't know.
Interesting proposition.
I don't know. That's what I'll say.
Well, Josh, I know you guys played at South Carolina, so do you have any funny stories you can share about your time with Steve-O here?
Oh my gosh.
Where to begin, right?
Steve, what kind of stories do you want me to tell?
I don't know.
I want to hear the funniest one you've got for Steven.
Oh, gosh.
What's the time this guy did something just crazy?
I think we got to pull up that clip of that one practice we had where it was like really bad, and I tried to leap over the chairs.
Oh, and then you just busted your butt.
Yeah.
Oh.
We'll add that clip in. It was like one of the worst practices of the year. Like coach was honest, like he was not happy, and I got subbed out, and I was walking, and this was like in the main gym with like the seats we sit on the bench.
Yeah.
And I don't even know what was going through my head. It was really, really bad. But I tried to like jump up and like scissor kick and land on the other side, and I landed on the seats. And and it wasn't like one seat, like the entire row fell down. And,
and we're literally like playing.
Yeah, there was live playing. They just stopped. Like everyone, like the person with the ball just like stopped, and everyone just turned and looked at me. I was just like, oh my god.
What did Paris say to you?
He didn't say anything. I don't think.
He just looked at you with a look of disappointment.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, Tim Buckley as well. Just like What's this guy doing?
Yeah, they were just like, what is going on? Because no one really saw it at first. They thought I probably like tripped or something like that. But then like the Dobo and like some of the other assistant coaches went back and watched it, and they like they sent in there like, dude, what are you doing? Like, are you serious?
Oh my goodness. That's crazy.
In terms of stories, like I have so many good ones. It's really hard to just pinpoint one. You know, I think in my years in South Carolina, right, we had some really good practice players,
Mhm.
right? And Lamont would be he would feel a certain way, right? When you know when certain practice players have a great game or a great day,
Yeah.
and and it's just a turn like in terms of like our defense and whatnot because he was really harping on us about defense. He didn't think, and like the whole team thought that we were like the underdogs last year. So we were just trying to shock the world and our conference is based on our defense, and we were one of the top defensive teams in our conference. Yada yada yada. But say like our coaches would practice with us as well. So we got a little 5'6" guy, scoring on a 6'8" guy, right? He stops practice and he's like, hold it, like what are we doing? And he's like, he be saying stuff like, in what universe does David McKinley, because that was the name of our assistant coach. What universe does David McKinley score on Zach Davis? What universe does that happen?
Yeah.
Speaking of that, that made me think of something. I remember you showed me last year that you've got a notes of
we got
Lamont sayings. So what is there one in particular that sticks out to you? Because I can remember a couple that just made me fall on the floor.
They're really funny for people that know him. I think I've showed them to people that like don't really know him,
Yeah.
like fans and stuff. Like I'll just be
But I feel like as an athlete, people that are athletes understand the type of coach. He's a defensive coach. He really pushes you guys. And some of the sayings I remember you showed me were just so funny that it was hard to believe. So Josh, do you have a favorite saying from Coach Paris?
I just told my teammates the other day of the 18 holes analogy.
Oh, that was a good one though.
He was like, on to the next hole, right? Because we just lost to this is our first year. This is my first year there, so this is like before Steven was there. We had just lost to Tennessee. He's like, on to the next hole. There's 18 conference games, and there's 18 holes in golf. This is not a coincidence, right? And we're just in the locker room like, yo, what is this guy talking about? We just lost bad to Tennessee. And I didn't know what this guy was talking about at all. But we were just shaking our head like, I guess, coach. But yeah, that was a good one.
There was another one that he said last year, and it's always during film. It was always during film sessions, like we were rewatching something, and it's like someone doing the same thing over and over, same turnover over and over again, and he'd be like, guys, if someone told me my breath stank, I'd take a mint. I'm not just going to keep smelling my same stanky breath. Like, we would just be like, okay.
That's a good one.
Yeah. He also told me one time, right, because, he didn't really get on me that bad. But I remember one time, right, because I was looking at the quotes the other day. I forgot who scored on me. Whether it was
PJ. It was when we were watching the Clemson game, the PJ Hall.
Oh, the Clemson game. So he just goes out and he scores on me. He's like, oh, he just put you in the torture chamber, Josh.
Put you in the spin cycle, huh?
Nah. Yeah.
But yeah, he's very funny. He has a bunch of other quotes that he's like a really quirky guy. He doesn't really seem like on the sidelines when you watch him in the games, he doesn't really seem like he likes to have a lot of fun. But yeah, he's a really fun guy. Some of the sayings are just really unorthodox.
Really off the wall. Yeah, that's funny.
All right, this is the last segment I got for you. It's blind ranking. So I'm going to give you 5 characters that you think would be good at basketball. So these are just random guys, and I need you to rank them. So first one, you got Shrek. Where would you rank him 1 through 5 at his ability to play basketball?
1 being the best, 5 being the worst.
With these 1 through 5 rankings, everyone goes with 3 just to be safe. So I think I'm gonna, starting off, I'm gonna go with 3,
That's
striking
solid.
3.
All right, next one, Waluigi.
Oh, I'm putting him at 4. He is
4?
Yeah.
What?
I agree.
When I heard that, I was thinking like he's so long and lanky, like he could probably be a really good slasher.
Yeah, but
it's
that frame, man.
Man,
That's a bad body.
All right, next one, Walter White.
Oh, 5. He'd be a great coach, though.
There you go.
All right, next one, Steve from Minecraft.
Steve from Minecraft.
Like the main character from Minecraft.
Well, he can jump really high. I think I'm gonna put him at 2.
All right, last one was Rick Sanchez.
Rick Sanchez. That is from
Rick and Morty.
Well, he has a very high IQ, so
There it is. Yeah.
Yep.
So number 1. So I'll turn it over now. We're doing chain restaurants. So again, 1 through 5, gonna give you them blind. So you let me know how you'd rank them. So first one I got for you, old classic McDonald's.
Putting that at 4.
4. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Next one is a late night staple, Taco Bell.
Ooh, Taco Bell's got to be 5 for me.
Oh
I don't
my
like
gosh.
Taco Bell.
You're not gonna like the rest of these.
That's crazy. All right, number 3.
I think Taco Bell, out of all the chain restaurants, has the worst rated beef among all the chain restaurants. So,
That's a good point. So I got number 3 for you is Chipotle.
Oh, okay. I put Chipotle. You know what? I'm gonna be a safe man. I'm gonna put Chipotle at number 2.
Okay. Solid choice. Number 5 or next one I got is Wendy's.
Wendy's could be 3.
3? Okay.
Yeah.
Last one I got for you is Chick-fil-A. Ding ding ding.
There you go.
There it is.
Chick-fil-A is number 1. They have really good milkshakes.
Yeah.
Pro
Yeah, they
tip
do.
or horse tip right here. When you next time you go to the Chick-fil-A, because when I was at LSU, I was debating on whether to get a strawberry milkshake or a cookies and cream milkshake. But my GA at the time, he told me that I could get both. Right, so that's the milkshake I've been getting for like the past 5 years, and it's one of the best milkshakes ever. Like it doesn't matter whether it's cookout or.
Never go fast food with Josh Gray. He is the worst person to go because he will ask for the most outlandish stuff. He'll go and get a Chick-fil-A sandwich and be like, "Yeah, do you guys got some like horseradish?" Or he'll ask for like the most craziest thing for no reason. Like he'll just be like, "Yeah, like can you add like 10 strips of bacon to it or something?" It's like waffle fries. Can you make sure like can you put like 2 of them in there? Like like he just say some crazy stuff.
Well,
I heard like customize my orders. I don't know why, but it's like I like the initial part of what you have on the menu, but I would just like to spice it up. You know what I'm saying? Make it.
I feel you. I feel that. You heard it here on the Lock It In pod first. Chick-fil-A strawberry cookies and cream milkshake. Combine it.
I don't like strawberry.
Breaking news.
I would do like. Yeah, they're doing like. Don't they have like a key lime one or something?
Yeah, it's nasty. It's nasty.
No, not that one.
It's so bad.
The peppermint one.
Okay, that's good.
The peppermint one is gas.
Do not get the key lime one. That stuff is awful.
All right, Josh. Well, appreciate your time. Good luck this next week. We'll be tuning in later today to see where they put you guys. Hopefully, it's somewhere near us so we can make it to it.
Last thing I'll say is, oh my gosh, I thought they hated freaking South Carolina. The SEC hated South Carolina last year. The committee does not like us at all. Missouri, they don't like Missouri at all. They, like last year, they projected us last in the conference, and then we came out hot. We beat Kansas, we beat Florida, we beat Bama, and it's just been a real. It's been crazy. So, for example, right, we were a lock for the tournament, right, 2 weeks ago. Then we lose 3 out of our next 4 games. But even though our resume speaks for itself, we're already a lock. ESPN goes from they're locked to they should be in, and it just little stuff like that. It just really bothers me. But yeah, I hope we get they got us projected as a 7th seed. I hope we get the 6th seed, just because I think they have Ole Miss as the 7th seed, and we beat Ole Miss, so I don't know why. I mean, they have Ole Miss as the 6th seed, and we beat Ole Miss, so I don't know why they should be the 6th seed and we should be the 7th, because I think our resume is just a little bit better. And I also, you know, if I had a choice, I would want to go to like the East region of the tournament. I don't want to go to the West side.
Exactly.
There's a lot more locations over like east of Missouri, so hopefully you guys get a good draw.
Yeah, but
well, I'm picking Missouri to win it all. I don't know about you. I'm picking
we
Josh
are locking it in.
Gray. Josh Gray, tournament MVP.
Lock it in.
Yeah, I'm locking it in.
oh, when it comes to tournament time, like, you know, all bets are off. Like I get so locked in.
Yeah,
horse-
I mean, are you going to
the
shoot a
horse
three?
is loose.
I mean, I was texting him before when they played South Carolina this year, and he told me he was going to shoot a three, and I told him I'd send him $100 if he made a three, but he didn't get a three-pointer.
I did not get a chance to shoot the three. I apologize for that one. But
Garbage time. If you get the chance, toss up a half-court shot for us.
All right, no, that's crazy.
shot,
No,
Half-court shot.
that's crazy.
Garbage time into the game. Toss it up there. We'll know that was for us.
okay. with like 5 seconds.
Like
left,
5
it's
seconds,
like,
yeah.
Yeah, all right. Because like I kind of like control the offense. So if I get the ball at the top of the key, I'll take like 3 dribbles backwards and I'll shoot it.
Hell yeah. That's what I like to hear.
All right.
Half-court shot.
Well, Josh, appreciate your time. We'll talk later, but appreciate you coming on the pod.
Thank you, Josh.
Thank you guys. All glory to God.
All right, guys. Well, that completes our first episode. Just finished up the interview with Josh Gray. I mean, great first episode. We're excited to see where this thing goes, and I think we're just excited for what's coming in the future.
Yeah, man. I'm super grateful to our team and everybody else. So stay tuned for more episodes. Lock it in with Nathan and Stephen Clark.